Hi everyone, welcome back to a new Roblox story. This time, the story is about the Roblox game 99 Nights in the Forest. As always, not all of our stories are based on true events, but some are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the story, if you dare. Before we start the story, shout out to Landon Kidd. Thanks to you all for watching our podcast. Alex wiped the sweat from his forehead as he crouched behind the dark stone walls of the volcanic church. The heat from the surrounding lava pools made the air shimmer like water, and the smell of sulfur burned his nose. He had been playing 99 Nights in the Forest for months, but nothing had prepared him for the horror of the volcanic biome. Day 63 was almost over, and time was running out. The sun hung low in the ash-filled sky, casting everything in an orange glow that matched the bubbling lava scattered across the wasteland. Alex checked his inventory one more time. Infernal sword, 3 health potions, some cooked meat, and most importantly, the rope they would need for their dangerous plan. "We should use a dead cultist," whispered Maya, her voice barely audible over the distant rumbling of the central volcano. She pointed at the 3 cultist bodies they had collected during their raid on the church. The red-robed figures lay motionless on the grey volcanic soil, their crossbows scattered beside them. Maya had been Alex's closest friend since they started playing together 6 months ago. She was smart and careful, always thinking about the safest way to complete their missions. Her avatar had long brown hair and wore the blue jacket she had earned from rescuing her first child back on day 12. "Dead ones give less loot," replied Jack, shaking his head firmly. Jack was the team's expert on game mechanics. He had spent hours reading wikis and watching YouTube videos about 99 Nights in the Forest. His character wore the special hat he had crafted from rare materials found in the snow biome. "We need a living cultist for the best rewards. The volcano sacrifice system gives better items when you use living enemies." "But how do we get one to the volcano alive?" asked Tom, nervously adjusting his flashlight. Tom was the youngest member of their group, only 13 years old in real life, but he had incredible aim with ranged weapons. His avatar carried a crossbow that had helped them survive countless night attacks. "They attack us on sight, and the volcano is so far away." Alex studied the volcanic landscape stretching before them. The central volcano dominated the horizon, a massive cone of dark rock with lava flowing down its sides like glowing rivers. Between their hiding spot and their destination lay a maze of dangers: scorpion pits, fire bandit camps, lava pools, and the mysterious structures that dotted the wasteland. The 4 friends had made it further than most players ever dreamed. Day 63 meant they had survived over 2 months of constant horror, rescuing children from caves, building shelters, crafting weapons, and fighting off supernatural entities that hunted them every night. But the volcanic biome was different from anything they had faced before. When the update had launched 3 weeks ago, replacing the familiar snow biome, everything changed. The green forests and white snow they knew were replaced by this hellish landscape of ash and fire. New enemies appeared: fire bandits with burning crossbows, massive scorpions that guarded treasure chests, and worst of all, the ram. Alex shuddered thinking about their first encounter with the ram 5 nights ago. They had been exploring a cultist tower when the message appeared. "The ram has woken up." Unlike the deer, which they had learned to avoid and sometimes trick, the ram was pure aggression. Its massive horns could smash through any shelter, its charge attacks could kill a player instantly, and its glowing red eyes seemed to track them no matter where they hid. "I have an idea," Alex said finally, "but it's dangerous. What if we knock one unconscious and drag it there?" The plan was risky, but they were running out of options. According to the wiki, volcano sacrifices were the only reliable way to get the legendary rewards from the volcanic biome. Items like the infernal sword, which could instantly kill most enemies, or the infernal sack, which cooked food automatically. They needed these powerful items to survive the final month of their journey. Maya bit her lip, considering the risks. The cultists are strong, and they travel in groups. How do we separate one without alerting the others? The church has 7 cultists inside, Tom said, checking his notes. 3 regular ones with swords and 4 crossbow cultists. If we can create a distraction, maybe we can isolate one of the regular cultists. Jack nodded slowly. My flashlight has a full charge. I can stun one long enough for you guys to tie it up. But we need to be fast. Alex looked at each of his friends. They had been through so much together, surviving blizzards in the snow biome, escaping from the deer during midnight hunts, rescuing 4 children from dangerous caves. Their teamwork had kept them alive when thousands of other players had given up or been killed. Okay, Alex said. Let's do this. They spent the next hour carefully planning their approach. The volcanic church was one of the most dangerous structures in the biome, built from black stone and surrounded by smaller lava pools. According to Jack's research, it contained red spiked chests with valuable loot, but the cultists inside were more aggressive than normal enemies. As the sun began setting, painting the ash clouds in shades of red and purple, they put their plan into action. Tom positioned himself on a rocky hill with his crossbow, ready to provide cover fire. Maya circled around to the back of the church, where a broken wall would give them an escape route. Jack and Alex approached the main entrance, their flashlights ready. The first part went perfectly. Alex threw a rock at the church door, and when 3 cultists came out to investigate, Jack's flashlight beam hit the last one in line. The cultist stumbled backward, dazed by the bright light, while the other 2 ran toward the sound. Now! Alex whispered. He and Jack jumped on the stunned cultist, quickly tying its hands with the rope from Alex's inventory. The creature was heavier than expected, and its red eyes burned with fury, even while unconscious. Strange symbols glowed faintly on its dark robes, and Alex could feel heat radiating from its body. Got it, Maya called out, running toward them from the back of the church. But we need to move fast. The other cultists are coming back. Tom's crossbow bolts whistled through the air, keeping the remaining cultists at a safe distance while the team regrouped. The unconscious cultist was starting to wake up, making low growling sounds that didn't sound quite human. This thing is heavier than I thought, Jack panted as they began dragging their prisoner across the volcanic wasteland. Are we sure it's worth it? Oh. The wiki says living sacrifices give the best rewards, Alex replied, though he was starting to have doubts. The cultists' weight was slowing them down, and night was falling fast. In the volcanic biome, nighttime brought deadly creatures that made the normal forest entities seem friendly by comparison. The journey to the central volcano took longer than expected. They had to navigate around several lava pools, avoid a scorpion pit that Tom spotted just in time, and take a detour when they heard the distinctive sound of fire bandits in the distance. The unconscious cultist grew heavier with each step, and worse, it was starting to wake up. Its eyes are opening, Maya said nervously. The cultist's red eyes flickered like dying embers, and its breathing became more rapid. We're almost there, Alex said, pointing to the massive volcano ahead. The central volcano was an incredible sight, a mountain of black rock rising from the center of the biome, with lava flowing down its sides in glowing streams. At the top, they could see the sacrifice platform where players could throw enemies to receive randomized rewards. But as they approached the volcano's base, the cultist fully awakened. It thrashed against the ropes, making inhuman sounds that echoed across the wasteland. Its struggles were so violent that the team almost dropped it several times. "Hold on tight," Tom shouted. "We can't let it escape now." They reached the narrow path that led up the volcano's side, just as complete darkness fell over the biome. The only light came from the lava flows and the eerie glow of volcanic vents scattered across the landscape. Alex's heart pounded as they climbed the treacherous path, dragging their prisoner behind them. The sacrifice platform was exactly as the wiki described. A circular stone platform overlooking a pit of bubbling lava. Ancient symbols were carved into the stone, glowing with the same red light as the cultists' robes. The heat was almost unbearable, making their screens shimmer with distortion effects. "Finally!" Jack said, breathing heavily from the climb. "Let's get this over with." They positioned the struggling cultist at the edge of the platform. Below them, the lava pit churned and bubbled like a living thing. According to the game's lore, the volcano was connected to the dark forces that had corrupted the forest, and sacrifices would appease these powers in exchange for magical items. "On 3, Alex said. 1, 2. That's when they heard the message that made their blood run cold. "The ram has woken up." The words appeared in glowing red text across their screens, accompanied by a sound effect that was part growl, part roar. Alex felt his character's fear meter begin to rise as the message repeated twice more, echoing through the darkness. "We can still make it," Jack said, but his voice shook with fear. "Just throw the cultist in and run." Alex looked down into the bubbling lava below. The heat made his screen shimmer with distortion effects, and the red glow reflected off their faces. They lifted the struggling cultist and prepared to throw it into the molten pit. The creature's red eyes blazed with fury and something else, intelligence. "Wait," Tom said suddenly, his voice barely audible over the volcano's rumbling. "Do you guys hear that?" In the distance, heavy footsteps approached. Not the quick running of panic, but slow, deliberate steps that spoke of absolute confidence. The ram was hunting them, and it was in no hurry because it knew they had nowhere to run. The footsteps grew louder, echoing off the rocky walls of the volcano. Each step seemed to shake the ground beneath their feet, and Alex could see small rocks rolling down the slopes with every impact. "Throw it now!" Maya screamed, her voice filled with panic. But as they hurled the cultist into the lava, something went horribly wrong. At the last second, the cultist grabbed Maya's arm with its bound hands, its grip impossibly strong for a creature that should have been weakened by their capture. "Maya!" Alex screamed, reaching for his friend. The cultist's red eyes blazed with triumph as it dragged Maya over the edge with it. Her scream cut off abruptly as she hit the molten rock and instantly died, her health bar disappearing from Alex's screen. The lava churned and bubbled where she had fallen, steam rising in ghostly wisps. "Maya!" Alex reached for her, but Jack pulled him back from the platform's edge. "She's gone! We need to run." Jack's voice cracked with emotion, but he was right. Maya was dead, and they had bigger problems. The footsteps were much closer now. Alex spun around and saw a massive silhouette approaching through the volcanic haze. The ram was even more terrifying than he remembered, easily twice the size of a normal entity, with curved horns that gleamed in the lava's glow and eyes that burned like the fires of the underworld itself. Alex looked around desperately for an escape route, but they were trapped. The sacrifice platform was built on a narrow ledge with lava below and sheer rock walls on 3 sides. The only path down was the way they had come, and the ram was blocking that route. "There!" Tom pointed to a small cave entrance carved into the volcano's wall. "We can hide!" It wasn't much of a plan, but it was their only option. The 3 surviving friends squeezed through the narrow cave entrance just as the ram reached the sacrifice platform. Through the opening, Alex watched the creature examine the spot where Maya had fallen. The ram was unlike any entity they had faced before. Where the deer moved with jerky, unnatural motions, the ram's movements were fluid and purposeful. It walked to the edge of the platform and stared down at the bubbling lava, its massive head tilting as if it were thinking. Then the ram's head turned toward their hiding spot. Its burning eyes seemed to look directly at Alex through the cave entrance, and he felt his character's fear meter spike to maximum. The creature's gaze was intelligent, calculating, and completely terrifying. It knows we're here, Jack whispered, his voice barely audible. The ram began walking around the volcano's edge, clearly looking for another way down to their cave. With each step, small rocks crumbled and fell into the lava below. The creature was patient, methodical, and absolutely relentless. "We're trapped," Tom said, stating the obvious. "We can't go up, and we can't go down." Alex pressed deeper into the cave, hoping it might lead to another exit, but the tunnel was shallow and ended in solid rock after just a few feet. They were stuck in what amounted to a stone coffin, with the most dangerous entity in the game hunting them outside. That's when Alex noticed something that made his blood run cold. The lava level in the pit below was rising. The volcano was becoming more active, and soon their cave would be flooded with molten rock. The sacrifice, Alex realized with growing horror. Maya's death wasn't enough. The volcano wants all of us. The ancient legends spoke of the volcanic biome being cursed, requiring regular sacrifices to keep the dark powers satisfied. But what if one sacrifice only made the volcano hungrier? What if Maya's death had awakened something even worse than the ram? Above them, the sound of hoofbeats echoed through the cave system. The ram had found a path down and was making its way through the tunnels toward them. Each footstep was like thunder, growing closer and closer. "I can see its eyes," Tom whispered, pointing toward the back of the cave. In the darkness, two red points of light were approaching through a tunnel they hadn't noticed before. Alex felt panic rising in his chest. They had survived 63 days of horror, faced countless monsters, and rescued 4 children from the depths of nightmare caves. But it was all going to end here, trapped in a hole in the ground, while a demon stalked them through the darkness. The lava level rose another foot, and Alex could feel the heat starting to affect his character. His health bar showed the first signs of heat damage, and sweat was making it hard to see the screen clearly. "I'm sorry," Alex whispered, looking at his 2 remaining friends. They had been through everything together, and now he was about to make the hardest decision of his life. The ram's footsteps were almost on top of them now. Alex could hear its heavy breathing echoing through the cave system, and the red glow of its eyes was getting brighter. Alex looked at Jack and Tom, then at the rising lava that would soon cook them alive. They had 2 choices: face the ram in combat, they couldn't win, or burn to death in the volcanic heat. "I'm sorry," he whispered again, and pushed both Jack and Tom toward the cave entrance. "Alex, no!" Jack screamed, but it was too late. The ram was waiting for them. As his friends tumbled out of the cave, Alex heard the creature's triumphant roar. But instead of following them, he pressed himself against the back wall of the cave and waited. The lava was rising faster now, and the heat was becoming unbearable. His health bar dropped to 50%, then 40, then 30. Through the cave entrance, Alex could hear the sounds of battle. Tom's crossbow bolts whistled through the air, and Jack was shouting instructions. But their weapons were useless against the ram. Nothing could kill it except lava, and they were too far from any pools to lure it there. Alex's health dropped to 20%. The rising lava was almost at the cave entrance now, and he could see the orange glow reflecting off the walls. In a few more seconds, the molten rock would reach him, and his 63-day journey would end in fire. But then he heard something that gave him hope. Maya's voice. "Alex! Over here!" He spun around, ignoring the pain from the heat damage. There, in what he had thought was solid rock, was a hidden passage, and standing in the passage was Maya, her avatar glowing with a strange blue light. "How are you alive?" Alex gasped, stumbling toward her. "I'm not," Maya said sadly. "The volcano's sacrifice changed me, but I can help you save the others." Alex followed Maya through the hidden passage, his health slowly recovering as they moved away from the lava. The tunnel was carved with the same ancient symbols they had seen on the sacrifice platform, but these glowed with cool blue light instead of burning red. The cultist that dragged me down wasn't trying to kill me, Maya explained as they walked. It was trying to save me. The volcano doesn't want sacrifices. It wants to corrupt people, turn them into guardians of the biome. What do you mean? Maya stopped walking and turned to face him. Her avatar's eyes now glowed with the same blue light as the tunnel walls. The ram, the fire bandits, the scorpions, they were all players once. Players who got too close to the volcano's power and were transformed. Alex felt sick. Are you saying the ram used to be human? Worse, Maya said. The ram is the first player who ever reached the volcanic biome. He's been trapped here for months, maybe years, growing stronger and more twisted with each passing day. They reached the end of the tunnel, which opened onto a ledge high above the sacrifice platform. Below them, Alex could see Jack and Tom still fighting the ram, but they were losing badly. Tom's crossbow was broken, and Jack's flashlight was flickering weakly. We have to help them, Alex said. We can, Maya replied, but the cost is high. To defeat the ram, you need to use the volcano's power. But using that power means you'll never be able to leave this biome. Alex watched his friends dodge another charge from the ram. Jack stumbled and almost fell off the platform, saved only by Tom grabbing his arm at the last second. What do I have to do? Maya pointed to an altar carved into the ledge. On it lay a sword that glowed with the same blue light as her eyes. The volcanic blade. It's the only weapon that can truly hurt the ram, but whoever wields it becomes bound to the volcano forever. Alex stared at the sword. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, with blue flames dancing along its edge. He could feel power radiating from it, promising the strength to save his friends and defeat any enemy. If I use it, what happens to me? You become like me, Maya said softly. A guardian of the volcanic biome. You'll be able to protect other players, help them survive the horrors of this place. But you'll never see the real world again. Below them, the ram caught Tom with a glancing blow from its horns. The boy's health dropped to critical levels, and he collapsed near the edge of the platform. Alex didn't hesitate. He grabbed the volcanic blade. The moment his fingers touched the sword's hilt, power flooded through him. His avatar began glowing with blue light, and he felt his connection to the normal game world fading. But with that power came knowledge. He could sense every entity in the volcanic biome, understand their movements and motivations. The ram wasn't evil, Alex realized. It was in pain, trapped between human consciousness and bestial instinct, desperate to find release from its endless torment. I understand now, Alex said, raising the volcanic blade. The sword's blue flames grew brighter, casting dancing shadows on the tunnel walls. He leapt from the ledge, his enhanced avatar landing gracefully on the sacrifice platform. The ram spun to face him, its red eyes blazing with fury and something else, hope. I know what you want, Alex said, holding the sword steady. I know what you need. The ram charged, its massive horns aimed directly at Alex's chest. But instead of dodging, Alex stood firm and thrust the volcanic blade forward. The sword pierced the creature's heart, and blue flames spread across its body. Instead of dying, the ram began to change. Its twisted form straightened, its burning red eyes faded to normal brown, and its massive horns shrank to human proportions. As the transformation completed, Alex found himself looking at another player, a boy about his own age, wearing the simple clothes of a starting character. Thank you, the former ram whispered, his voice human again. I've been trapped for so long. What's your real name? Alex asked. Marcus, the boy replied. I was the first person to reach the volcanic biome when it launched. I've been the ram for 3 weeks, hunting other players because I couldn't control myself. Jack and Tom approached cautiously, their weapons ready, but their faces filled with wonder. How is this possible? Jack asked. The volcanic biome is a prison, Maya's voice said from behind them. She had appeared on the platform, still glowing with blue light. It traps players who discover its secrets, forcing them to become guardians whether they want to or not. But we can help people now, Alex said, feeling the volcanic blade's power flowing through him. We can protect new players, guide them safely through the biome. Marcus nodded eagerly. There are others like us, scattered throughout the volcanic wasteland. Players who were transformed by the corruption but retained enough humanity to help instead of just hunt. What about us? Tom asked, gesturing to himself and Jack. Can we still escape? Alex looked at his two remaining friends. They had been through so much together, and now he was faced with an impossible choice. Stay and help protect future players, or let his friends continue their journey alone. You can still reach day 99, Alex said finally. Maya and I will make sure of it. Over the next hour, Alex learned about his new abilities. As a guardian of the volcanic biome, he could sense dangerous entities from miles away, create safe paths through the lava fields, and even communicate with the corrupted creatures that roamed the wasteland. Maya showed him the secret passages that connected all the major structures in the biome. There were tunnels beneath the scorpion pits that led to hidden treasure rooms, caves behind the fire bandit camps where players could hide during attacks, and most importantly, safe routes to the central volcano for those brave enough to attempt sacrifices. The cultists aren't entirely evil either, Maya explained as they explored the underground network. They're protecting something important, the 4 children who were lost in this biome when it first appeared. There are children trapped here too? Alex asked. Not just trapped, Marcus said, joining their conversation. The volcanic biome's version of the rescue mission is different. These children have been corrupted by the heat and ash, turned into something between human and elemental. They're incredibly dangerous, but they're still just scared kids who need help. Alex felt a new sense of purpose. His journey to day 99 was over, but a different kind of adventure was just beginning. He would help other players survive the volcanic biome, rescue the corrupted children, and maybe even find a way to break the curse that had trapped so many souls in this hellish landscape. Jack and Tom decided to continue their journey, armed with the knowledge Alex and Maya had given them. They knew which paths were safe, which entities could be reasoned with, and how to avoid the worst dangers of the volcanic biome. Will we see you again? Tom asked as they prepared to leave. Maybe, Alex said. If you make it to day 99, you might find us waiting at the end. What's at the end? Jack asked. Maya smiled mysteriously. That's something you'll have to discover for yourself. As his friends walked away into the ash-filled dawn, Alex felt a mix of sadness and hope. His original journey was over, but a new chapter was beginning. The volcanic biome was dangerous and full of horrors, but it was also home to players who had been transformed by their experiences, who had found ways to help and protect others despite their own suffering. Over the following days, Alex, Maya, and Marcus worked together to establish safe routes through the biome. They rescued 3 more transformed players, a girl named Sarah, who'd become a fire bandit leader, a boy named Diego, who controlled a pack of corrupted scorpions, and an older player named Elena, who had been guarding the entrance to the deepest caves. Each rescue was dangerous and required careful planning. The corruption fought against their efforts to restore humanity to the transformed players, sending waves of volcanic entities to stop them. But working together, the growing group of Guardians was able to overcome each challenge. The real breakthrough came when they discovered the source of the corruption, an ancient altar deep beneath the central volcano, where the original developers had placed a cursed artifact that was meant to make the biome more challenging. Instead, it had gained a malevolent intelligence of its own, feeding on the fear and desperation of players to grow stronger. We have to destroy it, Alex said, staring at the pulsing red crystal that sat at the altar's center. It's the only way to free everyone who's been trapped. Oh. But destroying it might collapse the entire biome, Elena warned. Every player currently in the volcanic area could be killed. Or they could be freed, Maya countered, released from the corruption and able to continue their journeys normally. It was a difficult decision, but in the end, they chose to take the risk. Using their combined power, the 7 Guardians channeled energy from the volcanic blade into the cursed crystal. The artifact fought back, sending waves of heat and malevolent energy through the chamber, but their determination was stronger than its corruption. When the crystal finally cracked and shattered, the effect was immediate and dramatic. Throughout the volcanic biome, corrupted entities began transforming back into their original forms. Fire bandits became confused players who had been lost for weeks. Scorpions dissolved into ordinary rocks and gems. Even the landscape began changing, with green grass sprouting through cracks in the ash-covered ground. But the most amazing transformation was what happened to Alex and the other Guardians. As the corruption left their bodies, they found themselves changed again, no longer bound to the volcanic biome, but enhanced by their experiences. They had become something new, players who existed between the normal game world and the darker forces that lurked beneath its surface. "We're free," Marcus said, staring at his hands as the blue glow faded from his skin. "But we're also different." "Different how?" Sarah asked. Alex tested his new abilities and found that while he had lost some of the volcanic powers, he had gained something else: the ability to sense corruption wherever it might appear in the game world. He could feel dark forces stirring in other biomes, other players trapped by forces beyond their understanding. "I think our real mission is just beginning," Alex said. Maya nodded, her expression serious. The volcanic biome wasn't the only cursed area in 99 Nights in the Forest. There are other places, other corruptions that need to be cleansed. "Then we'll cleanse them," Elena said firmly. "All of them." The 7 Guardians made a pact that day, standing in the ruins of the cursed altar. They would travel throughout the game world, helping other players survive the horrors they encountered, rescuing those who had been corrupted or transformed, and working to cleanse the dark forces that had infected the forest. Their first mission came just days later, when reports began arriving of strange happenings in the deep cave system. Players were entering the caves and never coming out, and those who did escape spoke of whispered voices and shadows that moved independently of any light source. "Sounds familiar," Marcus said grimly. "Different corruption, same pattern," Alex agreed. "Something is trapping players and feeding on their fear." The 7 Guardians set out for the deep caves, their new abilities allowing them to travel faster and more safely than normal players. Along the way, they encountered Jack and Tom, who had made it to day 78 and were preparing for their final push to day 99. "Alex!" Tom called out when he saw them approaching. "You look different." "I am different," Alex said, but he was smiling. "We all are. But we're still here to help." "The deep caves are dangerous," Jack warned. "We've heard stories about players going insane down there, attacking their own teammates." "That's why we're going," Maya said, "to stop whatever is causing it." The reunion was brief, but emotional. Alex was proud to see how much his friends had grown and learned during their continued journey. They were confident, skilled players who had mastered the game's mechanics and developed their own strategies for survival. "Will you make it to day 99? Alex asked. "We think so," Tom said. "Thanks to everything you taught us about the volcanic biome, we were able to get some amazing items. Look at this." Tom showed Alex his new weapon, an infernal crossbow that shot bolts of pure fire. Jack had an infernal sack that automatically cooked any food placed inside it, eliminating the need to waste time building campfires. "Those will help you survive the final weeks," Maya said approvingly. "What happens at day 99? Jack asked. "Really, I mean." Not just the generic ending message. Alex and the other Guardians exchanged glances. They had learned some disturbing truths about the game's final stages. but sharing that information might do more harm than good. You'll find out when you get there, Eleanor said diplomatically. Just remember that some victories come with unexpected costs. As the Guardians prepared to enter the deep cave system, Alex felt a familiar mix of fear and excitement. They were about to face unknown horrors, possibly worse than anything they had encountered in the volcanic biome. But they were also stronger now, more united, and driven by a clear purpose. The first cave entrance was deceptively normal, just a hole in the ground surrounded by ordinary forest trees. But as they descended into the darkness, the temperature dropped noticeably, and strange whispers began echoing from deeper in the tunnel system. "Stay together," Alex warned, his enhanced senses picking up something wrong with the cave's atmosphere. "Whatever's down here, it doesn't want us to reach the source." The whispers grew louder as they went deeper, and soon they could make out individual words. "Turn back. Leave us. Join us. Stay forever." "It's trying to confuse us," Sarah said, her experience as a former Fire Bandit leader making her resistant to mental manipulation. Don't listen to the voices, but the whispers were persistent and seductive, promising easy solutions to difficult problems. They spoke of places where players could rest without fear, where food and supplies were unlimited, where the constant stress of survival could end forever. "I know what this is," Diego said suddenly. "It's a corruption of the game's rest mechanics. Something is creating a false safe zone that traps players by making them too comfortable to leave." Alex nodded grimly. It made sense. If a player found a place where they felt completely safe and well supplied, why would they ever want to continue their journey? They would stay there forever, slowly losing themselves to the illusion of safety. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber filled with the most beautiful sight any 99 Nights in the Forest player could imagine. Hundreds of players sitting around warm campfires, eating endless supplies of food, laughing and talking without any fear of entity attacks. "Welcome," called out a player near the entrance. "Come join us. You don't have to struggle anymore." Alex felt the temptation immediately. After months of constant danger, the thought of finally relaxing was almost irresistible. But his enhanced senses also picked up something the normal players couldn't detect. These people weren't really alive anymore. "They're shells," he whispered to the other Guardians. "The real people are gone. These are just echoes, puppets controlled by whatever force is running this place." "Then where are the real players?" Marcus asked. Their question was answered when they reached the center of the chamber. There, suspended in crystalline pods that pulsed with dark energy, were the bodies of dozens of players. Their avatars hung motionless, while their minds were trapped in the false paradise above. "We have to free them," Maya said. "But how?" Elena asked. "If we destroy the pods, we might kill the people inside." Alex studied the setup carefully. The pods were connected to a central device that looked similar to the cursed crystal they had destroyed in the volcanic biome, but more sophisticated. This wasn't just feeding on fear. It was harvesting contentment, joy, and the basic human desire for safety and comfort. "We need to give them a reason to want to leave," Alex said finally. "Something more compelling than eternal comfort." The solution came from an unexpected source. Marcus, drawing on his experience as the ram, let out a roar that echoed throughout the chamber. The sound was filled with the wild freedom of the hunt. The excitement of danger survived, the joy of challenges overcome. The effect on the trapped players was immediate. One by one, their avatars began stirring in their pods as their minds rejected the false paradise in favor of real experience, real danger, real life. The illusion shattered like glass. The comfortable chamber dissolved, revealing the harsh reality underneath, a cave system filled with ordinary dangers that could be overcome with skill and teamwork. The puppet players vanished, replaced by confused but grateful real people who had been trapped for weeks. "Thank you," said a girl who had been in the first pod Alex opened. "I was starting to forget who I really was." "The comfort was too perfect," explained another rescued player. "Nothing that good could be real, but it was so hard to care about that when everything felt so nice." The Guardians helped the rescued players form groups and gave them advice for continuing their journeys safely. Most had lost significant progress during their imprisonment, but they were alive and free to make their own choices again. As they prepared to leave the deep cave system, Alex reflected on how different this mission had been from their experience in the volcanic biome. Instead of corruption that turned people into monsters, this had been corruption that turned them into contented prisoners. Both were dangerous, but in completely different ways. "There will be more," Maya said, as if reading his thoughts. "Different kinds of corruption?" Sarah asked. "Different kinds of everything," Elena said. "The game is bigger than we thought, and there are forces at work that go beyond simple programming." Over the following months, the 7 Guardians travelled throughout the world of 99 Nights in the Forest, encountering corruptions and challenges that tested their abilities and their resolve. They found a snow biome region where players were being turned into ice sculptures by an entity that fed on their body heat. They discovered a section of the regular forest where time itself was broken, trapping players in loops that repeated the same day over and over. Each mission taught them something new about the game's hidden depths and the forces that shaped it. They learned that 99 Nights in the Forest was more than just a survival horror game. It was a testing ground where human nature itself was being examined and challenged. But their most important discovery came when they finally encountered other players who had reached day 99. The meeting happened in a place that didn't appear on any map, a clearing in the forest where the normal rules didn't seem to apply. Here, players who had completed their 99-day journeys gathered to share their experiences and decide what to do next. "You're not the first Guardians," explained a player named Catherine, who had reached day 99 6 months earlier. "Others have made the same choice you did, sacrificing their own escape to help future players survive." "What happens to players who reach day 99 normally?" Alex asked. Catherine's expression grew complicated. "They get a choice. They can leave the game forever, returning to the real world with their memories intact, or they can stay and become something more." "Something more like what?" "Like us," said another voice. Alex turned and was shocked to see Jack and Tom approaching through the trees. But they looked different, older, more confident, and glowing with the same inner light that marked all the Guardians. "Jack! Tom! You made it!" "We did," Tom said, smiling broadly. "Day 99 was intense, but we chose to stay." "Why?" Alex asked. "Because we realized something," Jack said. "The real world is just one reality among many. Here we can help people face real challenges and make a difference in ways that matter. Plus," Tom added with a grin, "the game keeps updating with new content, new biomes, new challenges, new players who need help. Why would we want to leave when the adventure is just getting started?" Alex felt a deep sense of satisfaction. His friends had made their own choices, found their own paths, and ended up in a place where they could all work together again. "So what's next?" Maya asked. Catherine gestured toward the edge of the clearing, where Alex could see portals leading to biomes he didn't recognize. "The developers keep adding new areas, new challenges. There are rumors of an ocean biome where players have to survive on sinking ships, a sky biome where gravity works differently, and something called the Mirror Forest, where players face corrupted versions of themselves. All of them need guardians," added an older player named Robert. "People who understand the difference between challenging gameplay and malevolent corruption." Alex looked around at his fellow Guardians: Maya, Marcus, Sarah, Diego, Elena, Jack, and Tom. They had all started as ordinary players, just trying to survive 99 nights in a dangerous forest. But their experiences had transformed them into something greater: protectors who could help others face their fears and overcome seemingly impossible challenges. "Then that's what we'll do," Alex said. "We'll face whatever new horrors the game creates, help whoever needs help, and make sure that no player has to face corruption alone." "Together?" Maya asked. "Together," Alex confirmed. As the Guardians prepared to enter the new portals and face whatever challenges awaited them, Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. His original goal had been simple survival, but he had found something much more important, a mission that gave meaning to every danger faced and every fear overcome. The game of 99 Nights in the Forest would continue evolving, creating new biomes, new entities, and new challenges. But no matter what horrors emerged from the darkness, there would always be Guardians ready to stand against corruption and help other players find their way to safety. Some victories, Alex had learned, were worth any sacrifice. And some adventures were too important to ever truly end. The forest was vast, full of mysteries yet to be discovered and players yet to be saved. And the Guardians would be there, watching from the shadows, ready to help when the darkness seemed too deep and the journey seemed too long. Because that's what Guardians do. They protect the light, no matter how dark the night becomes. And in 99 Nights in the Forest, there would always be another night, another challenge, and another chance to make a difference. The adventure was far from over. It was just beginning,